Hello and welcome. My name is Dex, my pronouns are he, they, and I am the Chaotic Norse Practitioner. Today's video is all about my history with Freyja. I am super excited to get into this. The last video obviously was my history with Loki, so obviously I needed to talk about the lady of my heart as well. I apologize if there's any clinking or clanking. I thought I should do a little bit more and dress up a bit, do my hair, have the jewelry, but I didn't think too much about how clinkety-clanky it would be. But hopefully it's not too bothersome. I believe by this point I have talked about it a few times in a few different videos, but I grew up in Christianity, and 15 to 17 was when I started becoming disillusioned and just slowly deconstructed my Christian faith, and by 18 I was atheist for a very short time. And then, as I talked about in the last video, my history with Loki just kind of crashed into my life, leaving me no choice. Not really, of course there was choice, but definitely has now dragged me down this path that I'm very happy to be on. Something that I did not mention in that video because I was waiting for this video is that just before Loki was like, hey, and sent me the dream that he sent me, I was actually feeling a strong pull towards Freyja. I think this is probably for a few different reasons. She is a very well-known Norse goddess, and knowing that I am Norwegian, I had really always thought since the beginning of my practice that if I was going to work with gods, I would want to work with the Norse gods, because that just makes the most sense to me, and because I think that they're really cool, and I thought that they were really cool then. So probably part of the reason I felt a pull towards her was just because she's very well known among the Norse gods. But also, either just before or just after I turned 18, when I had moved into an apartment with my sibling and a friend, we got cats. We got a cat for each of us. And obviously, cats are very connected to Freyja. Having cats just made me feel more connected to her without even realizing that there was something to that. And I was just thinking about her and starting to research her. And I was thinking at the time, like, oh, maybe I'll start working with her when I'm ready in the far future. And then Loki came crashing into my life, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this motherfucker, why not? And I didn't really think too much about it for quite a while after that. After moving to the current area I live in, but in a previous place, I decided that I wanted to kind of reach out to her again and be like, hey, do you still want to maybe chat it up with me? Let's see what's going on here. One of the reasons specifically that I wanted to start venerating her was because the area that I live in, and especially at the place where I first moved to, there are so many cats. A lot of people have indoor-outdoor cats, and on top of that, there are a lot of strays. All of the strays even are very well taken care of. People are very kind in this area to the cats and love them very much, so very happy about that. But it just made me, again, feel very close to Freyja, and I was thinking about her all the time. So I was like, hey girl, hey, what if I just started venerating you? And I did. In the beginning, it was definitely a little bit awkward and stumbly and bumbly, just because I had gotten used to the dynamic with Loki. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is when I was 21. I started working with her when I was 21. So 3 years into my practice with Loki, I started venerating Freyja. I was still bumbling and fumbling the around with venerating and practicing with Loki, but it was even worse with Freyja, I felt kind of awkward. Like I knew that I wanted to venerate her, and like I felt that very deeply. I just realized something. Gotta light the freaking candle for communication. Okay. Now that we have the communication candle lit, maybe I'll be better at this. I feel like I'm doing okay, but anyways. When I first actually started venerating her, I felt very distant. I felt like it wasn't at all what it was like with Loki, because from the very beginning of my practice with Loki and venerating Loki, I could feel his presence super strongly, and I felt very connected to him, and like it was very spiritually profound for me. But working with Freyja was and is a lot more subtle. She's a lot more hands-off, and I have learned through time speaking to other dedicants or devotees or just worshippers of Freyja that that is super common, and like what I have experienced is like very Freyja. She's just like, do your fucking thing. Do it better though. So now I know that it's not like she doesn't like me or she's not really there or anything like that. It's just, this is just how she is, and I love her for that. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So in the beginning, I was fumbling around. It was awkward. I wasn't really sure if she was even really there, but I knew that I actually didn't really care if she was really there or if it was just me thinking about her characteristics that I want to embody, her confidence and her empowerment and her sovereignty over her body. Those are things that I like want to have in myself. So even if she's not really here with me, I can still learn from her and grow from just thinking on her. So that's kind of where I was at. But I was still acting as though she was really there. So I was giving offerings and I prayed to her. I decided to dedicate Sundays to her. I believe it's more traditional to dedicate Fridays to her because supposedly Friday comes from Freyja's day. So I know that's, I think, what a lot of people do. I felt more called to Sundays because of her connection with the sun for me. That is, I believe, very UPG. I haven't really heard other people talk too much about it, but I feel that there is a very strong connection between her and the energy of the sun. And I think like when I do workings and different things, working with the sun and Freyja together is very harmonious. It just works really well. So that's why I decided Sundays instead. It just made the most sense to me. But I would give her rose incense mostly and vodka. I learned later on that she did not like the vodka. Multiple times I've been working with spirits or gods and I've been giving them an offering for a long time, and then later they're like, hey, I don't like this offering. So at that point I'd stop giving it to them and I give them something else. But up until that point, nothing bad happens. It's not like they really like reject the offering unless they really hate it, but I have personally not come across that in my experience. I never had an offering kind of go unwelcomed, but I learned later on that she did not like the vodka and she did not want vodka anymore. I bought this hair clip thingy, hairpin, and it's really funny because pretty much right after I bought this pin, I cut my hair really short and then I shaved my head. So I don't really actually wear it, and obviously right now I don't really have long enough hair. For the most part, I haven't had long enough hair since I bought this to actually be able to wear it, but I use it as a tie clip usually because I think it looks cool, and I'll be talking more about this later on. So I dedicated that, and then I also started doing a sacred day of rest. This is when I was employed and my job was very much a physical labor job, so I was freaking exhausted all the time, but I dedicated Sundays, her day, as my day of rest, and it was also kind of a dedication to her because she's the one who was like, boy, take a nap. You need to pause, you need to slow down, you need to rest, like, holy shit. So I just did it with that. After a while, I decided that Sunday was not the ideal day for me, so I switched it to Mondays, but it was still done in her honor. I no longer do it because, well, for one, I'm unemployed, so any day can be a day of rest if I have nothing to do, which is not that often because I actually keep myself very, very busy. That is pretty much how it went for the first year or so. From the beginning of my practice with Freyja, I never really... I feel like Freyja is often boiled down to like a love goddess, a sex goddess. You know, I don't feel like not by like actual practicing heathens necessarily from what I've seen, but in the larger pagan community, witchcraft communities, and media in general, she is very watered down. And I, from the very beginning of my veneration practice with her, never really saw her that way. Like, not that she has nothing to do with love or sex, but there was so many other things that I saw in her way more. Like, I see her as a warrior, I see her as a death goddess, I see her as the one who pushes me and like helps me reach my goals and take care of myself. I've heard this from other people as well. I don't currently have the same level of difficulty that I have previously had surrounding food and body image. I did in the past have an ED, but not anymore. I still had not a great relationship with food and felt like very shamed around food, like when I would try to eat healthy, when I wouldn't eat healthy. Being a fat person, if you're eating anything, someone is judging you. It's just like you can't win. And I was still really holding on to that. But as Freyja came into my life, I have been able to let go of that and just be like, no, I'm just a person. I'm just eating. And like, my body needs this fuel. There's nothing moral about it. It's just food. I'm just putting food in my body, and it's not that fucking serious. But she has especially helped me to prioritize nutrition and move my body more, get outside more. She's definitely helped me a lot in overcoming agoraphobia. So for me, I don't really see her as like a love and sex goddess. I see her as like sovereignty over your own body, and that can mean sexual things, but I'm not very sexually repressed. That's not really an issue that I have. I think for people who are maybe a little more sexually repressed or have traumas that are still holding them in certain spaces, I think working with her in matters of sex is more helpful, and that comes forward more. But for me, I just need to love my body, take care of my body, and give a shit about myself. So that's really more how she shows up in my life. And also in just like being confident, not giving a fuck what's going on out there. Like, what people think of me is irrelevant. I feel like that's something that she kind of reminds me of a lot. It's just like, nobody else's opinion matters. And I feel like Loki and Freyja work. They kind of double team me on that one quite a lot of like, hey, stop paying attention to those people. Stop paying attention. It's not serious. It's not deep. You just do your thing. And if somebody has a problem with it, that's like not your problem to deal with. Like, they can deal with that themselves. Pretty much, I mean, even until now, from the very beginning, even at 18, when I was just feeling a draw to her and then didn't start working with her right away, that is still how she showed up to me, in a very like focused on health and my body and sovereignty over my body in that way. At 22, I started getting a little bit more interested in trying sex magic, and I've done a few things since then, but nothing that was that exciting for me. I like the idea of it, but I just think it doesn't quite do it for me. I think sex and ritual can be great, but like, I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me. But I started wanting to kind of look into how to do that and have her a part of that practice, working on my confidence, trusting my inner power, and just like believing in my own self and not seeking outward validation to feel okay about myself. And again, Loki and Freyja really double teamed me on that one. I started also giving Freyja perfume in offering at this time. I should have grabbed it, but I forgot. I got this like sample perfume and I smelled it and immediately knew like, this is Freyja. So I officially, unofficially dedicated it to her, and it has sat like on the altar next to her candle since then. Sometimes I will spray it in offering to her, or just like when I want to connect with her. I also dedicated the lip tint that I am currently wearing to her. I also started getting much more consistent with offerings and prayers, and started trying my best to write prayers, although that took a while. So from the very beginning of my time venerating Freyja at 21, and even until now, something that has kind of plagued me is this guilt that I am closer to Loki than I am to Freyja. And it's definitely something I have struggled with quite a lot, because I don't like that. I prefer more balance. But through talking to more people who venerate Freyja and work with Freyja, it makes a lot more sense to me that the dynamic of our relationship is very normal. That does make me feel better, and like, oh, it's not like me, I'm not doing enough. It's like, this is just how she shows up, and there's nothing wrong with that. But also, I started feeling more and more like, hey, I want to put in more effort, because that was the other side of it, is that same with Loki, I was getting what I was putting in, which wasn't very much, and I didn't realize that until very, very recently. She definitely has prompted me to spiritually get my shit together. She has definitely been very on me throughout our time together, and she has really pushed me to take better care of myself. The way that I see it is Loki is more mental health and Freyja is more physical health. So she has, like I said, pushed me to eat better and move my body and get outside and overcome my agoraphobia and like do nice things for myself, put myself together in a way that feels good for me, and just like give a shit about myself. She really shows me the power and the strength that I carry inside of myself, and pushes me to like stop acting like other people are stronger. Like I need other people's validation. I need other people's power. I need other people's this or that. I need a god to help me do this. She's like, no, bitch, you can do it yourself. Like, I'm here. I'm not like leaving you, but you don't need me to do this for you. And I really need that in life. Very no nonsense, very practical, and very straightforward. There's not like fluff to it. I have had, for the majority of my practice, a devoted but very casual relationship, pretty much like I described with Loki in the last video. I love her and I care about her, and I want to do right by her. I want to honor her, but I definitely was not putting in a ton of effort at this point. At the time, I knew that I really liked being in her presence, so I would kind of call on her and just kind of sit there with her and just be with her while I did stuff. It was just very casual, and that's how I liked it. I didn't want it to change. With either Loki or Freyja, I didn't want to go further than this for a very long time. I slowly started working on deepening my relationship with her, and especially in the last few months, a funny little tidbit. I think I have probably asked her this at least 4 times now. I ask her the question, how can I connect better with you? And every single time, I mean every single time, I get the same exact answer, and that is taking care of my physical health, my body, moving more and eating nutritionally, and astral stuff, trance journey stuff, traveling the 9 realms. Every single time I've asked. I asked many, many times, and I didn't listen all of the times until finally the most recent time I asked, which was maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It finally clicked in my brain, and I was like, oh my god, she's given me the same answer every time and I haven't done it. Every time I get the answer and I go, that's not the one I wanted though. That's like not easy. So I finally was like, I'm so sorry that I've asked so many times and you've told me the same thing every time and I haven't listened. So I am finally going to really stand on fucking business and work towards this. I definitely sensed that she was happy that I was doing that, but also annoyed that it's taken this long for me to actually listen, which, me too. Something that Freyja brings up to me quite a lot is that caring about your physical health is caring about your mental health. And for a long time, I couldn't really see that because my mental health was so bad that I couldn't take care of my physical health because I'm so fucking depressed, or I'm too fucking anxious to leave the house, or I'm so exhausted I can't even get out of bed. It wasn't until in the last year, but especially in the last like 6 months, 3 months, month, that I've actually started being able to actually see the truth of that. The more that I have prioritized my health and myself, getting outside and moving my body and eating as much minimally processed whole foods as possible and just being mindful, the more that I have seen the effects that has had on my mental health, the more I'm like, well, wish I would have listened sooner. But at the time I didn't have it in me to do those things. So now that I do, my mental health is improving, and that's good. I see the very soft feminine side, the more like love and sex goddess side. And I see the warrior side, the death goddess side, lady of the slain. Like I see that badass warrior goddess. I have done a few meditations with Freyja, not that many because I honestly just keep forgetting. That's kind of the biggest problem for me, is that like I just keep forgetting to do the things that would further my connection with a deity or a spirit. So it's getting better the more that I've been on my ADHD meds, so yay for that. Throughout the last 2 years, I think, from 21 till now, I have done quite a lot of divination with her. I feel like that's kind of one of the main things that I do with her is divination, through a pendulum, through tarot, through runes. I have also dedicated a tarot deck to her. I have started inviting her into spells in the last year, especially in the last 6 months, I would say. I've been really working on deepening our connection and deepening my relationship with her, deepening my understanding of her. I just recently read the Pagan Portals book on Freyja. I plan on looking through that resource list at the back to find more works about Freyja that I can read, and hopefully some more targeted ones, because obviously the Pagan Portals book is going to be very general, very overview. And this is so funny because the amount of times I change my altar is borderline f***ing ridiculous, but I'm changing everything about it because of different changes in my practice. So now I have an altar to Loki and an altar to Freyja. I haven't properly set them up yet because I dismantled my whole altar yesterday and moved everything around and did not have the energy to set anything up. They are both right next to my bed in the living room. I'm really excited to see what happens with this, to see what the shift in my focus, this new branch of my path leads me to. And this is something I was going to say about this. I will be putting this on that altar for Freyja. I will probably actually also put these earrings, which are my favorites. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but these are like my favorite earrings ever. My brother-in-law got them for me just randomly because I like D&D. I'm trying to put a lot of jewelry on these two altars because I personally feel that jewelry is one of the best ways that I can like connect with a deity or spirit, because I just put it on and then you just kind of feel them. Every time it shifts, I'm thinking of them. On that note also, these are the prayer beads that I made for Freyja. I am super happy with how they turned out. I do still hope to someday buy her a really, really nice set, but until I have enough money, I have these ones. And I have been just wearing them, especially on Sundays on her day, and when I pray, even if I don't do the whole thing, I just like to kind of fiddle with them, hold them, kind of brings my attention back, helps me focus a little bit more. So yeah, I will show them in greater detail in a second. Let's do that. And I think all of these beads are either from necklaces that I have that I took apart to use the beads for, or from necklaces that I thrifted and then I took the beads apart from. So yeah. And I even used a golden clasp. So yeah, this is my dedicated journal, grimoire, whatever, to Freyja, and I'm obsessed with it. Oh god, you can't see it well, but I really, really, really like it. And I spent a lot of time on it. Beautiful. This is a nice little box, and it has like, it closes nicely. In here I have some various things that I printed out. That one's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I just have some various things. I have not yet started this project at all because I just haven't. But at some point, eventually I will do that, and then I will start keeping important things that I don't necessarily want on the altar or that don't fit on the altar in here. So yeah. And then just in case you couldn't totally see it before, it's so beautiful. I love it. That is pretty much all. I feel like this one was a lot more rambly and kind of weird. I don't know. I hope I made sense. This has just been a dedication and devotion to Freyja. I love talking about her. I love being in her presence. And I would love to hear from anyone else who works with her, what your experience has been like, how long you've been working with her, all those beautiful kinds of things. If you would like to share in the comments. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to see or hear more from me in the future. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay crafty and stay kind.